What is up, everybody? My name is Nick, joined once again by my co-host Matt. Welcome to For Bettor or Worse. Exciting episode today with an exciting announcement. Matt, let's just get right into it. Right into it?
I can't control it. I can't wait any longer.
Special guest with an exciting announcement. Let's bring him on. Austin Props.
Welcome. How we doing, gentlemen?
To the show.
Appreciate you guys having me on. How we doing?
We're doing great. How about yourself?
Doing well, man. Happy to be here.
You know
what?
Why
don't you tell us a little bit about, of course, Matt. Of course you're going to interrupt me. No worries, though. Why don't you tell us a little bit? It's not your moment, Matt. It is not your moment.
You know what? Fine.
Put the mic away. Let the man have his moment. Austin, have your moment. Thank you. Tell me a little bit about what's going on with you in the future.
My name's Austin's Props. Most of my content you'll find on Twitter or a chalkboard. I do a bunch of daily fantasy sports, prop betting, line betting. So I'm kind of always hunting books, trying to find the best value for the people. You know what I mean? Joining Flash Picks. So you guys will probably see a little bit more of me. Super thrilled for that. And yeah, I mean, I'm stoked to be here.
So we're trying to bring the best and the brightest to help you guys with free betting content throughout. So we're excited to have Austin join us. Let's get into some NFL. Matt, you can talk now. And why don't you bring up the next segment, which is a Super Bowl bubble. So why don't you explain it, and we'll go into, our predictions as well.
All right, so this is a fun segment. Before I get into that, guys, follow Austin's Props on Twitter. He's jumped from what seems like 10,000 followers to 19,000 followers in a blink of an eye. He's at 19.6. This will be recorded and sent out in the morning. Get him to 20K. All right, just get him to 20K. Boost it. He deserves it. Go follow him. He's crushing MLB, but we'll talk about that later. This is the Super Bowl bubble we're going to talk to you guys about. I'm excited. People always say, oh, no, blah, 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 when their team's not in this bubble. But you know what? You got to earn the bubble. You got to earn it. And if your team's not in it, I'm sorry, that sucks. All right, I don't make the rules. This is a trend. So the Super Bowl bubble is finalized after week 6. So here we are going into week 7. Week 6 is over with, and the Super Bowl bubble basically says since 1980, so that's 16 years before I was born, we're on a 20-year, 22-year, I guess, basically, run. No, more than that. 40-year, right? 42?
42.
42-year run. 42-year run. That's ridiculous. Where each team through 6 weeks has been 4-2 or better. So you can't be 3-3 through 6 weeks. You can't be 2-4. You can't be 1-5. Blah blah blah. You got to be 4-2, 5-1, or 6-0. And there's only a couple teams from each conference, so we're gonna go through them, and then basically I'm gonna name the teams, and then myself, Austin, and Nick will pick who we think is the outright winner, and if there's any value on these other teams. So these teams in the AFC are the Bills, Jets, Chiefs, Titans, and Chargers. And the NFC, you have the Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, and Vikings. So it's funny you have kind of the NFC East there and the Vikings. NFC is obviously a little weaker than the AFC, but we've known that from the jump. I guess I'll go first with who I think wins the Super Bowl.
Are we doing one from each or just one? Just one.
Pick who you think, if gun to your head, who wins the Super Bowl, and then who would you think would hold value to do a future where you think this team can win, even though they're not like the Bills or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's what we'll do. If you don't have one, then just pick your favorite. We'll do it that way. I'm going to stick with my gut here and say the Chiefs. I picked them before the season started. Nothing's really changed for me. I think in the playoffs, it'll be tough to beat. I think when they play the Bills again, it'll be a great game. But I think that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I picked them in the preseason, and I like where they're at. So I think the Chiefs do win. And my long shot pick is actually gonna probably piss a lot of people off. But I'm a Giants fan. Nick's a Commanders fan. Austin's an Eagles fan. I'm gonna say the Cowboys are my long shot pick because Dak is back, and their team has stood the test of time without him there. And the NFC is just so weak. So I think he could face, a primetime Kirk Cousins in the playoffs, get an easy W because he can't win a playoff game. And they're at 22-1, 25-1 in some books. For that value, you can't pass that up, but I do think they're going to make the playoffs. And the NFC is just kind of eh. So that's my long shot, but the Chiefs is my favorite. Austin, why don't you go into your selection? And it better not be what jersey you're wearing.
So NFC East, best division in football, as we know. I think there's zero chance Cowboys win it. Dak is injury prone. We see it every single year, but nobody wants to talk about him being injury prone. But he hasn't played a full season, I think, in like 4 years, 5 years.
Ever.
Yeah. I would
He
say
got it out early. Now he's going to finish it. Okay.
my front runner, I would say the Bills. I think Josh Allen's the best player in football. Love watching him play. I would say them. Favorite team would be the Eagles. I don't know if they have it this year. I kind of think they need one more year with their core. So I would say long shot would be the Eagles because they're still going to be underdogs. And then I would say favorite is probably the Bills.
Sir Nicholas, what are your thoughts?
Oh, are you guys done? Sorry, I was doing anything else at that point.
Oh my God.
Obviously, this trend ends with a 2-4 team. I think we all know who's going to come back and win. Nonetheless, if you want to play this stupid game, we can.
Hey, it's happened for 42 years. We're going to play the game.
Shut up. 42 years. What do they know? No, they don't know anything. This is New Year. It's our year, right? Every Cowboys ever. Bills. I like the Bills. I think they're a good – I mean, you can't really go wrong picking the Bills. You couldn't go wrong picking the Chiefs. Eagles, I'm never going to pick them. But
Team solid, though.
Yeah, I guess
they're
okay.
real good.
If you're into like good teams with like, solid defense and solid offenses and, all that, I prefer chaos. Nonetheless, the Bills, I like it, especially if they can secure home field advantage throughout the playoffs as well. That's going to be a big thing. It being in Buffalo, it being in the winter. I always think that's an advantage come playoff time, especially for those northern states with that weather and everything. Because, Bills Stadium, oh my God, some weather thing. Last year in particular, that weather game, like the under versus the Patriots and so on and so forth. It gets crazy up there. But Josh Allen has been so close multiple times. Defense looks good. Offense looks good. I mean, they have a lot of weapons. Yeah. Bills.
They all got experience, too. You know what I mean? Like, they got most of the guys back.
Yeah. I just can't believe we're going to rewatch this episode when the Cowboys win the Super Bowl. It's going to be hilarious.
There's no way. They're going to get bounced first round. What's that got? One playoff win in 5 years, 6 years?
How many does Jalen Hurts have?
This is like second year. Come on. It took Dak 5 years to get one.
I know.
All right. Let's go into some plays for the weekend. Austin, I believe this is your play. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be. But why don't you go break it down a little bit for us? I think you're wrong, but we'll get into that in a second. No worries.
So Jets opened up plus 120 as the underdog. The line has shifted now that Russ is out. Brett Ripien's going to come in and start. And I think this is a great spot. You get Jets minus 1.5 at minus 110 to cover the spread. Zach Wilson's starting to get going. Their defense is playing pretty well. They're 4-2. And we've watched the Broncos the last two games on primetime, I believe, on Thursday night, Monday night. I don't know.
Yeah,
they're terrible.
They played 4 primetime games so far. Yeah.
I mean, they're not a good football team. Ripien's going to come in. They're probably going to be struggling to move the ball like they have all season. I honestly would see the Jets blowing them out.
Yeah, you sound dumb, and I'll tell you why right now, okay? Because this Broncos team just got better, okay? Russell Wilson out, great. Mr. Dangerous, fuck him. His team got better. So, you
think Ripien's going to spin it?
No, not at all. But I could make an argument that this team got better because, my God, Russell Wilson has been bad, just so
awful.
bad. And it's not anything to do with like he was playing with an injury, this, that, and the other. He didn't have his eyes injured, or his neck where he couldn't turn and scan the field because, we all seen those screenshots of wide receivers, running backs, whatever, just waving their hands as high and hard as possible to try to get his attention on wide open. Most of them were touchdown plays, but yeah, it's Jets minus 1.5. Come on. There's no way you could bet the other end.
Right.
Unless you're just like, oh, it's a trap, and just
exactly.
Yeah, Broncos are at home, but their defense does look good, but the Jets look really good right now, especially for the Jets. And they look way different than when we watched them versus Cincinnati. Completely different team. Oh my God, they were so bad. And I'll tell you why. Joe Flacco. That's Joe Flacco had no business being that. He was so bad. So bad.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this line moved to like 2.5, 3.5. Like, especially with the news just coming out today.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree with you guys.
I think in the morning you'll see some more movement when people people are looking at NBA. You got some MLB, and you obviously have college football all day. I feel like a lot of line movement happens in the morning when everybody wakes up and they're like, "Oh yeah, NFL today. Let's bet." Let's not try to get out early lines. Let's bet late as fuck. But nonetheless, Matt, I know you're excited about this next play. I don't know if you've been paid by like the Kickers Association to prop them up every single week, but this is what we're doing. This is Matt's weekly kicker prop, and it's guess what? It's verse. Who's it verse, Matt?
The Bengals, baby. Listen. Kickers are people too. I got the safari hat on. I don't know why. It just looks cool. But either way, Younghoe Koo at plus money versus the Bengals. We played Evan McPherson last week on the two best targets for kickers. We chose the wrong kicker. Will Lutz was kicking looked like 18 field goals in our faces. I learned my lesson. The Bengals have allowed every kicker to go over this line. Okay, every single week they've kicked field goals. You want to know why? Because the Bengals defense is actually pretty good, especially in the red zone. So they allow a lot of short field goals and a lot of field goals in general. They give up yards, they bend, they don't break. They'll allow them to get in. Younghoe can kick a 50-yarder like it's his job. I love this at plus money. And the Falcons, I know last week they scored 4 touchdowns, didn't give them an opportunity. But I don't think that repeats again. I think they have some red zone struggles. And with this Bengals defense being as tough as it is down there, I love this at plus money. That's really one of the main reasons why I'm playing it. If it was a little juice, I'd probably stay away, but the price is so tasty, and I'm taking to the bank.
Look, at plus 125 for something that's happened every single time this year, and obviously Atlanta's been able to move the ball. I can't see why it's not good value. Like, you got to take at least a little bit of shot on
it's
it.
It's going to be a little bit of a weather. I think there's a little bit of wind, but not enough to deter me from this play. So I'm going to get that. I know I'm going to get that message all the way down my tweet. Weather concern? No, I think we're good. They're going to try it at least. And, he's going to get his chances, see if he can convert.
And it's not like he's a shitty kicker. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
He's proven. I believe he was in the Pro Bowl last year. Like, he's an accurate kicker. If he gets the opportunities, they're likely going in.
Yeah. No, most definitely. If you want to bet a kicker prop, that's the one for you this week. If you don't, you're probably normal. I get it. Next up, Taylor Heinecke, under 32.5 passes. Under 32.5 passes. Obviously, this is a great play because someone knows that Washington's going to take a huge lead and just run the ball. But why don't you tell me a little bit about it?
I think it could take a lead, but I also see the game being close, so I don't see any team getting down where they have to throw the whole way to try to catch up. I think they want to use Brian Robinson. They've shown that. They have Gibson. They got McKissick. They have a lot of good threats. So I think they try to use that. And I also think it helps that Green Bay is likely for them to move the ball, going to have to put 10 to 15 play drives to get down the field. And that runs a ton of clock off. And that's just opportunity for Heinecke not to throw, basically, the longer those drives go.
Do you have a little concern with it being his first game this season? As far as
a little, I mean, there could be, but it could be they want to have him ease into it, run the ball, get the clock moving. I mean, yeah, he could come out and maybe they know something we don't and throw it 8 times on the opening possession. You know what I mean? But I would lean that they are going to be more conservative to start the game.
I think you're right. I think what the game plan would be to just run the ball first, second down, let him throw some third downs, try to move the ball. But first couple drives, really just because the worst thing for them to happen is he goes on the field and just throws a pick. Like that that'd be the worst possible situation. So you want to try to be a little conservative in the beginning. And I think you're right. I think as long as they're not chasing late, like really long, I think this is a great chance of cashing. And judging by the line and the way we see the game, I think It should be competitive, and especially with them at home, I think they can contain. Another reason why I like it is that the Packers are running the ball a lot because Aaron Rodgers has my grandma's nursing home as a wide receiver core, and Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon run the ball a ton. They waste a lot of clock, so I think you're going to see long possessions from the Packers that will take up less time for him to even throw the ball.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, last thing on it that I had was Heineke's going to run the ball a few times too, so he could drop back, you know what I mean, and run 7 or 8 times, and that's 8 passes that he wouldn't have got. Like,
yeah, the only thing that semi concerns me, and it's you can't compare Wentz to Heineke. It's completely different play styles. They're gonna have completely different offenses, but Wentz threw a shitload and has thrown a shitload the entire season, other than last game versus Chicago. Before that, his lowest was 38. That's the only thing that semi concerns me. But hopefully, they just completely change up the playbook to fit Heineke a little bit more, as they should. Play with the pieces that you have. That's the only thing that semi concerns me, or just complete blowout potential. And then he has to just play catch up the entire game to where it's not even like, they're up like 14-21, where running the ball is just not really an option anymore. Just devil's advocate on that one. But I do like the play because they should change the offense to fit Heineke's scheme a little bit more. And hopefully they're just up, This is a game I do want to try to find a play for because I'm going to it. Obviously, I want to bet it. So I'm trying to figure out whether, plus 4.5. I can't bet on Green Bay. I can't do it. Maybe I sprinkle a little bit on Jahad Dotson or Brian Robinson touchdown. I'm thinking about that. I might post something later. It'd be like a 0.25 or 0.5 unit kind of sprinkle just for a little fun, anytime touchdown. But that's kind of my thoughts on the game because, I'm going to it. Again, if you didn't know, I haven't said that before. So nonetheless, Matt, I know you got something I want to talk about.
Yeah, real quick. Are you going to the game tomorrow or today when this is out?
No,
Yeah, right?
I
Okay.
am. Thanks for asking. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask. This is out of my comfort zone just off my analysis on props. Usually I find props like we had D-Hop on Thursday night where, you pick a good target, a good position target. Like just for example, D-Hop was a great target because the Saints allowed a lot of wide receiver yards and every wide receiver went over this number. That was the wide receiver one that faced them. This is a different angle. I don't think any quarterback has hit this line like this versus the Browns. But the reason why I like it is just because Dobbins is out. And they also never really faced a mobile quarterback. So go through their game log. It was the Panthers with Mayfield, the Jets with Flacco, Steelers with I believe it was Trubisky still. He hasn't really run as much as he did previously, and I wouldn't really say he's a mobile quarterback. They had Mariota, which was the only semi-mobile quarterback. He didn't hit that number, and then he faced Herbert and Mac Jones. No one that's really been like a Hurts, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson kind of mobile quarterback. And Lamar Jackson, he had 17 week 1, which is horrible, but he was just torching the Jets offense with his arm. But then he had 119, 107, 73, 58, and 77. So in the last 5 weeks, he's cruised through this number. It's divisional. It's at home. He's 3-0 at home. I think he gets the extra motivation, extra push. He makes plays with his legs. I think he can crush this for a break for a long one. Maybe I'll eat my words, but I love this number and I love this play.
Let me translate what you just said for the viewers. All right. None of the numbers that I'm about to say back up my play, but it's Lamar Jackson. So come on. Right?
No, don't listen to me. Please listen to me.
None of those quarterbacks either. Like Mariota's not going to run it 12 to 15 times a game like Lamar will. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so even if he's a dual threat against the Browns, he's not going to hit that if he runs it 6 times. Like Lamar has upside to run it 12, 15 times a game.
Yeah. I mean, look, Lamar's my starting fantasy quarterback, so I hope he has 400 rushing yards. It is what it is. Anything else you want to add on that, either of you?
No,
I think that was good.
Yeah. Podcast exclusive? Podcast exclusive.
Let's get into it. This
Let's
is
do
sick.
Real quick, I brought this play in. They tagged along.
That is such a lie. Austin, to make it clear, Austin liked it. It was on my sheet of notes. We started talking before the show, and then Nick was just having some FOMO, so he hopped on. It's basically the story.
No, sir.
But, after I said the Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl, I just can't wait to talk to you guys about how you guys like the Chiefs this week. So it's only going to make me feel better. This is the first ever podcast exclusive where everyone's been on it. So it could be real cool or real devastating. We're going to find out, and we'll know by the end of the day. So who wants to start? Does anyone want to start?
I mean, there it is. Boom. I started. There you go. Finish it up.
Chiefs money line at San Fran. Everyone's giving San Fran all the love. They're suddenly Super Bowl contenders now that they went and got McCaffrey. Like, they got all these weapons to play with. The Chiefs are going to go there. They're pissed after the Josh Allen stuff. They want to go, and they're going to upset them. Not even upset them. It's minus 120, but for some reason, people are taking the dog here. They're going to take care of business.
I 100% agree. It's the good offense with the bad defense versus the bad offense in my eyes with a good defense.
Right.
You could say Jimmy G is going to win you a Super Bowl, but the 49ers obviously didn't think that when they drafted Trey Lance, and now we're trying to make believe this is going to happen. The 49ers are funny. They're like, let's go all in with Jimmy G 2 years ago. And then they're like, this guy's not going to win us the Super Bowl. Let's draft someone else. And then he gets hurt, and then they go and get Christian McCaffrey and go all in with Jimmy G. So yeah. I don't understand it. Again, from a Giants fan who's had Saquon, sells jerseys, he's cool, but he's not going to win you a Super Bowl. He's not going to be that extra edge to win the Super Bowl either. He may make you a little bit better, but when has a running back ever made you that contender? The 49ers are a great team. They're deep, but I just think the Chiefs are a better team and they're better positioned to win. The 49ers, we saw what happened when Jimmy G faced the Chiefs before in years past. What?
Two things I want to talk about real quick. Even if let's say they got a really good wide receiver and running back, which, McCaffrey might be both in that package, it still doesn't make them
Jimmy G versus Mahomes.
Yeah. That, and do you think they use him as like a Debo kind of package sometimes and try to get some of those plays they were doing with him previously? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, Debo doesn't want to run anymore because he wants to get paid. So his contract, I think there's a performance bonus for his rushing yards, which this actually may also be collusion for them to not pay Debo because he gets a bonus for yards he gets. But I think it's just because Debo doesn't want to run. He doesn't want to get hurt. So they kind of just did this. I think they're just going to use him as a regular running back, let Debo still do some trick plays and sneak him in every now and then. But I think he's going to be more wide receiver based is basically what I'm going to think here. And I just don't – here's the thing. The Chiefs have a bad defense, but they're 28th in passing defense and 13th in rushing defense. They've actually surprisingly stopped good rushing offenses, and they're going to have Jimmy G beat them, and I don't think Jimmy G can beat them. That's just what they're going to do as well, and until I see that physically happen, I'm not going to bet on it.
Well, and the Niners are banged up on defense. Like, I know they have this stud defense, but Bosa's out, Eric Armstead's out, Jimmy Ward's out, Samson Ubuakam's out. Like, that's three of their best rushers right there are out, all not playing. That's going to be a huge – like, Mahomes should have time. You know what I mean? Jimmy Ward's been unreal. Emmanuel Mosley, their corner, he's banged up. He might not play. So, I mean, if he's out, like, they're definitely – like, it's a good defense, but they got a lot of pieces missing.
I completely agree. I love it. You guys should all ride it with us.
Yeah.
Nick, want to say anything else?
No, that's it. Guys, thank you for joining us. Those are our plays. Welcome, Austin Props, to the Flash Picks family. Kill it. Let's all fucking kill it. Join us again on Thursday for another episode of For Bettor or Worse. Austin might be joining us a little bit more often, so keep an eye out for that in the future. Guys, bet responsibly. Go out there, kill it, and enjoy the day.
Let's bring home some money.
Hell yeah.